cemeteries of Oraio Castro and Nea Efcarpia, typological analysis and comparative evaluation within the cemeteries of Thermite Gulf and Halkidiki. Anna?
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. I'm trying to find my presentation, but okay, I think. Okay, can you see it?
Not yet. Yes, presentation is here, but you just have to share it. And now it's perfect. This is the first slide. Yes.
Yes, but it's not from the beginning.
And here you are.
Sorry. Why is it? Okay. I can't.
Maybe
Can you
share
again?
again.
Yeah.
Just try to roll up to the first slide.
Yes, I'm trying, but just I've closed the PDF, the PPT.
Share.
Take your time.
Yes, thank you. It's opening now. Why? No, what have I done? Okay. Oh God.
Again, and then when the first window pops up, just click the share whole screen, something like that. Don't
Wait, share. I can't find. Okay, here it is. Okay.
Perfect. Finally.
Okay. So this paper examines the ceramic assemblages from the early Iron Age cemeteries of Nea Efkarpia and Oraio Castro in ancient Mygdonia and the innermost part of the Thermite Gulf in northern Greece. The present study aims at the typological classification of the vessels, since these necropolis are among the best documented in the region, as well as at examining their function and symbolism within the framework of funerary practices. A comparison between the coastal and inland trajectories of early Iron Age in central Macedonia is also attempted. Both cemeteries belong to the flat necropolises. They form a part of a wider landscape of small settlements and associated burial grounds organized around the Sivri Ridge, which separates the Thermaic and Lagadas basins. Cemeteries are spatially distinct from settlements and function as clearly demarcated burial areas. The remainder of the finds consist of an assemblage of metal objects, including jewelry, dress accessories, and iron knives, as well as spindle whorls. These reflect both local traditions and wider inter-regional contacts, particularly with the Balkans and Central European sphere within Urfield and Hallstatt context, revealing sustained transmission routes linking northern Greece with the Central and Northern Balkans. The pottery is divided into principal functional categories: funerary urns and grave offerings. Funerary vessels, almost exclusively, with the exception of a single pithos inhumation, contain cremated remains. For this purpose, specific closed and open shapes were used. The restricted range and the consistent preference of the handmade manufacture, despite the presence of large quantities of imported vessels in settlements and in other cemeteries, suggest that the reception of cremated remains was embedded within a locally conservative ceramic tradition. Vessels were not particularly common found. Out of total of 479, only 86 graves Nef Carpia contained the vessel, while at Oreocastro, 30 graves out of 321 graves yielded pottery. In most cases, only a single vessel was deposited in the grave, and only rarely two. Overall, the limited number of offerings suggests that funerary display did not depend on ceramic abundance, but on a selective repertoire of forms suited to specific actions. Handmade pottery forms the backbone of the assemblage. Its predominance reflects regional continuity from the late Bronze Age into the early Iron Age. Within this framework, the handmade tradition constitutes both technological and a cultural choice. Amphorae fall into two main types, with vertical handles and an outer trim, and with horizontal handles and a funnel-shaped neck. Both appear in late Helladic tree period and are attested in well-made proto-geometric contexts of southern and central Greece, indicating influence despite differences in manufacture and the persistence of earlier technological traditions. The shape is rare in grave assemblages, only two miniature examples are attested, one is grey and well-made. The cutaway neck jug, a widely distributed regional type with early Bronze Age roots, is the most common funerary container. Only two examples are attested as grave goods, despite their wider presence in neighboring necropolis. Its persistence indicates formal conservatism in ritual equipment. The earliest specimen is the grey example with a burnished surface, horizontal ribbing, and a sharply tapering body, probably belonging to late Bronze Age, early Iron Age transition. The remaining examples show a shift towards more ovoid forms. The early date is further indicated by fluted handles, as twisted types are later. Cooking vessels with tall ovoid body and vertical strap handles, a shape already attested in the preceding period, form a distinct category characterized by coarse fabrics. The occasional presence of one example on the cover of a pit grave is potentially connected with funerary feasting. The type persists into the archaic period, but the nail-impressed decoration on the rim of the Oreocastro vessel indicates an early date. Aribaloi form a small but significant group. Their diminutive size and morphology indicate the storage of perfumed oils or other valuable liquids. Their deposition in funerary contexts may be linked to the symbolic use of substances associated with bodily care and purification. Two variants are distinguished. The first comprises elongated forms, recalling early Lekythoi with globular body, tall neck, and occasionally a necklace band of incised decoration that may represent the survival of a more elaborate motif of the late Bronze Age. The vertical handle is slightly twisted or flattened at its upper section, where a pronounced angular ridge is formed. The second consists of more compact spherical form of simplified morphology with small solid perforated handles. The shape strongly resembles the Corinthian Aribalos, but is more closely comparable to a grey early Iron Age spherical vessel known from Troy and Pitani. The handles, however, remind those of the fiale that will be discussed below. A Lekythos type example is also attested in grey well-made pottery. The presence of Aribaloi in both handmade and well-made local products underlies their integration within indigenous production. Fiale constitute the central component, the most numerous and diverse class of grave offerings. These are large, relatively heavy vessels with thick walls. The base is flat, usually slightly elliptical rather than perfectly circular, as is the rim perimeter. The body is deep, generally with straight walls and less frequently curved profiles. The rim is plain, typically slightly thickened inward, with a horizontally truncated upper surface related to the vessel's overall thickness. The base diameter usually measures about half the rim diameter, which itself is approximately twice the vessel height or equal to 4/3 of it. The rim widens toward the attachments of the horizontal handles. In some cases, incised decoration with oblique lines is observed along the periphery of the handles. Their connection with drinking practices is possible, allowing the funerary sphere to be engaged, at least symbolically, with social behaviors expressed through vessels. The development of fiale is traced to the Bronze Age, while stratified settlement evidence suggests increased production during the 9th and 8th centuries, with a peak in the later period. In total, 88 fiale have been recorded in 800 graves across the two sites. The dominant type is the double-handled fiale, reflecting the widespread diffusion of this variant. At Nef Carpia, double-handled fiale predominate, whereas at Oreocastro, one-handled variants are more common. This divergence is interpreted as reflecting local preference or ritual variation, while still operating within a shared formal tradition. Of particular interest are the variations of the double-handled fiale, some of which appear to occur exclusively in one of the two cemeteries. The typological analysis of the individual features allows for the distinction of several variants. Two specimens bear elaborate handles. The first one, with triangular terminations and oval perforations, resemble a fiale from Albania from Malik III, likely representing a survival of the type into the early proto-geometric period. The second is distinguished by large trapezoidal handles with concave sides, elongated ends, and triangular perforations, with similar examples from Olthos and Toroni, probably in use in the late Sub-Mycenaean proto-geometric periods. The earlier fiale tend to have well-burned surfaces, while proto-geometric are simply smooth. We have also fiale with two arched handles bearing circular perforations. Similar fiale appear at Castanas and are considered among the latest variants. Fiale with triangular handles, they bear triangular and circular perforations, and they have straight or sharpened edges. A distinct double-handled fiale subcategory appears only at Oreocastro, with one small solid handle without perforation combined with one perforated handle. Castanas evidence suggests that this is a late type appearing at the end of the proto-geometric period. One-handled fiale consistently features arched handles differing only in the shape of the perforation, which may be circular or triangular. Spouted fiale can be divided into subgroups based on the form of the spout. Fiale of the first subgroup have markedly elongated, deep semi-cylindrical spouts rising roughly from the mid-body height. A similar early Iron Age fiale is known from the Olympus region. These fiale bear a close resemblance to the so-called salt cellars that appear in the late Bronze Age and continued into Mycenaean times, vessels intended for serving small quantities of liquids, though possibly also used for drinking. The second subgroup features a short spout projecting only slightly beyond the rim profile and ending in a straight termination. The spout develops symmetrically in relation to the handle and shows no sectional differentiation. A parallel example from Karaburnaki is securely dated in late geometric period. Fiale with an upright handle arising from the rim exhibits several variations. This fiale type, with one or two upright handles, also appears in the late Bronze Age. Its shape originates in the early Bronze Age. Large double upright handled fiale are known from the cemeteries of Regina and Gynekokastro in Kilkis. Two comparable examples dating from the late 11th to the first half of the 9th century are known from the cemetery of Agios Ioannis in Chalkidiki. Cantheroid fiale with vertical elevated handles are attested. Two types can be distinguished. With neck, the shape likely derives from late Bronze Age, as specimens from Vardarovsa and Lefkit in Albania suggest, and without neck, two specimens appear that differ in the upper handle terminal. Cantheroid fiale from southern Greece do not bear a projection on the handle back. Similar vessels, the so-called knopfware, appear in the seventh phase of Troy, dated to the transition between the late Bronze Age and the early Iron Age. According to Arslan, they indicate the arrival of populations from the regions of Thrace and Bulgaria. Since such features are very common in northern cultures already from the Middle Bronze Age and continuing into the Iron Age, for example in the finds of the Paragenuan culture, we may more generally regard fiale with similar handle projections as expressions of northern influences. A ladle differs in the markedly elongated double-stemmed handle terminating in a ring. Ladles are already attested in the late Helladic III period, when a distinction appears to emerge between simple utilitarian vessels used in cooking and more carefully finished examples intended for ritual dining. Vessels with a comparable ring-shaped termination are known from Castanas. A skifoid fiale resembles the wheel-made skiffy. Well-made pottery is limited in, here are some marks. Okay. Well-made pottery is limited in quantity but significant for the regional connectivity. There is a significant difference in quantity between the two cemeteries. It is divided into three principal categories: geometric pottery with paint decoration, grey well-made pottery fired in a reducing atmosphere, and thick-walled monochrome vessels. An important deep skyphos with linear decoration aligns with the wider geometric traditions of Thessaly and beyond. Its appearance is considered as evidence for participation, albeit limited, in broader exchange networks and for the selective incorporation of prestigious or stylistically marked forms into funerary assemblages. Fabrics support an ascription to local production for the rest of the well-made pottery. Fine, well-levitated clays with limited inclusions are noted, and surface treatments include geometric motifs such as pendant semicircles or monochrome slips in red or brown shades. These are considered indigenous products under southern typological influence rather than imports. Among the most significant well-made forms are one-handled cups, ultimately derived from Mycenaean and sub-Mycenaean prototypes. Other well-made forms, one-handled deep cups with ring bases or pseudo-bases, are also considered as locally produced, influenced by Aegean shape traditions. Grey well-made pottery, a distinct category with debated origins but strongly regional development in northern Greece, present only in small quantities in settlement contexts, appear dynamically in funerary assemblages. The predominance of one-handled canthoroid cups links grey ware to drinking practices and to behaviors associated with social display. Small closed vessels are minority. Within the innermost part of the Thermaic Gulf, early Iron Age flat cemeteries, handmade pottery predominates, including fiale and catharoid cups. Monochrome local well-made cups and mugs appear gradually. Differences are most visible in the corpus of well-made geometric pottery. In later cemeteries, such as Nea Philadelphia, Karabournaki, and Fermi, the repertoire includes imported and local skyphoi of Euboean types. Karabournaki is distinguished by the large number of such vessels, probably reflecting its role as a central port. This pattern defines a gradient of external connectivity within the Gulf, expressed through contacts with southern Greece, particularly Euboea, while handmade funerary traditions remain stable. The funerary data from Pieria provides a crucial comparative field because it preserves both continuity with Mycenaean traditions and strong proto-geometric development alongside matte-painted and incised components. The coexistence of Mycenaean imitations and handmade traditions defines a transitional ceramic horizon with both persistence and experimentation. In comparison with the Thermaic Gulf, the Pierian cemeteries display a wider typological and quantitative range in early proto-geometric forms and in the presence of matte-painted and incised wares reflecting closer connections with southern Greece and with late Bronze Age tradition. A further contrast is provided by Chalkidiki, where funerary practice often places stronger emphasis on cremation and on inhumation in pithoi. Consequently, Chalkidiki cemeteries yield substantial larger number of cinerary vessels and pithoi. In the principal cemeteries, Akanthos, Koukos, Toroni, Agios Ioannis, the cinerary repertoire includes amphorae with horizontal handles, cooking pots, and cutaway neck jugs, all forms also attested in the Thermaic Gulf. Open vessels, fiale, craters, cantheroid forms are also used as urns, indicating a shared ritual with different frequencies. Early burials are mainly furnished with one-handled cups and cutaway neck jugs and occasionally important skyphoid with conical base. Late burials retain the same dominant types, with the addition of handmade cantheroid fiale. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you for sharing this beautiful Iron Age material with us. Do we have any question or comment on Anna's presentation today? Or anybody online? No. Okay. If not, I would like to thank Anna again.
Thank you.
To thank to all our today's speakers and participants and the colleagues that followed here in vivo and online. And now we have a lunch break.